Alrighty, thank you everybody for tuning in to the 16th iteration of the Konoha Companion. And this is Joshua. I'm your Konoha Companion, as always. And on this episode, we're going to be covering Season 1, Episode 16 of Naruto, entitled The Broken Seal. And before we dive too deep off into the episode, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what happened on the previous episode in my own words. And so, to make it quick, Naruto and Sasuke are both still locked inside the crystal ice mirror dome of Haku's, and Sasuke finally has an opportunity to really show off some of those legendary Uchiha skills. According to Haku, no human eye can track his speed, and yet Sasuke is able to do exactly that. And Sasuke keeps getting closer and closer to hitting Haku with a fireball jutsu. He's like leading him like a quarterback would a receiver. It also seems like Haku is getting more and more serious about hurting Naruto and Sasuke as he slows down, right? Before, all the shots were just kind of grazing, right? None of the Senbon really sticking. They were just there to nick and cut as they went by. And now they're actually like sticking in them, hitting them in the chest, hitting them in the legs, stuff like that. Zabuza and Kakashi begin their fight after Kakashi realizes he's got to make a move or else Sasuke and Naruto will likely die. And Zabuza calls in a mist so dense that neither of them can see so that he can negate Kakashi's Sharingan. And Zabuza attacks, attempting to stab Kakashi's Sharingan eye with a kunai, which Kakashi is able to block. Zabuza explains that the Sharingan is working in two parts, the piercing part that predicts movement and a hypnotic part that makes it so that he fools the person under the eye's gaze into doing the movements he makes, so that it seems as though the person under the gaze is leading the dance, when really Kakashi is. And I wonder if this is how it really works. This is the first real big explanation about the Sharingan that we've gotten to this point, and it's coming from someone who seems unfamiliar with it and is doing their best to understand it on the fly. It does, though, seem as though he's got a pretty good understanding. The dude seems really sharp, and I'm certain that Haku helped develop this understanding as well, and we all know that Haku is exceptionally talented. Zabuza attacks the bridge builder, and Kakashi leaps in between them, and Zabuza yells, "Too late," slashes his giant sword, blood goes flying, Sakura screams, and the episode ends. And with that, this episode starts with Sasuke casting his fireball jutsu at Haku as he's going about taking out the numerous shadow clones of Naruto that are trying to destroy the crystal ice mirrors. And this fireball actually grazes Haku on his skirt. And Haku stops his attack, and Naruto falls to the ground, and Sasuke is clearly gaining in confidence. And he thinks to himself, I got him that time. I'm starting to get the timing. It then shows us Haku in the mirror, who's thinking he read my movements, but that's not possible. And so Haku clearly believes he is impossible to track in there, and he doesn't quite realize how deep a shit he's in with these two. Naruto then stands up, gathers his might, and says, I was so close, but I couldn't get to him. And Sasuke asks Naruto if he can do it again. And Naruto responds, huh? Of course. Nothing can stop me. Believe it. And Naruto stays on the positive, stays unstoppable. I love it. But Sasuke seems to be concerned. He thinks to himself, he doesn't want to show it, but he's exhausted. The Shadow Clone Jutsu uses up so much chakra, but thanks to him, I figured it out. I know how to break through. And he lets out a smirk. And it takes us back to Haku and his internal dialogue, and he's thinking, the human eye can't track my movements. It must have been a coincidence. And yeah, that confirms it. This dude really doesn't seem to understand that these two got him on the ropes. And Sasuke starts casting the hand signs for the fireball jutsu, and he yells, Naruto, run for it. Get out of here and attack from the outside. Hurry. And Naruto responds, "All right, you got it." And he makes a break for one of the breaks between the mirrors in the crystal ice mirror dome. And Haku declares, "You cannot escape." But Naruto just keeps sprinting. And the mirrors light up, and Haku hits Naruto and knocks him back to the ground. And Naruto just immediately stands back up and starts sprinting again. And as he's sprinting, he yells, "You think you can keep me here? Forget it." Haku, at that point, goes to stop Naruto again, and Sasuke sees this and yells, "That's it." And he turns and casts his fireball jutsu, yelling, "Fire style fireball jutsu." And this time he has it timed perfectly, but just as it's about to hit Haku, Haku changes his trajectory mid-flight and avoids the fireball, and simultaneously throws a single Senbon at Sasuke. And Naruto is about to escape when Haku lands directly in front of him and backhands him to the floor. And at this point, Haku recedes back into the safety of the mirrors. And it shows the Senbon that Haku threw at Sasuke, and it's sticking out of Sasuke's shoulder. Like, this one really stuck in there good. And this is the first one that wasn't a grazing shot. This one actually stuck in him, and Naruto stands up and says, "I couldn't get past him." And Sasuke yanks the Senbon out of his shoulder and says, "That was good, Naruto, one more time." And Naruto agrees, "Yeah, let's do it." And Sasuke then thinks in reference to Haku, "There must be a limit to his chakra too. I can feel him slowing down." And Naruto then yells and goes sprinting towards the crack in the crystal ice mirror again. And Haku then says, "No more games. I need to stop this now." And as he leaps out of the mirror, he yells, "This time you'll stay down." And he throws the Senbon, and it hits Sasuke in the shin, as well as a few other places like the arms, the legs. The first one, and it seems like the most impactful one, was in his shin. None of them were grazing shots at all. And so at this point, clearly Haku is becoming more punishing with his attacks. And Naruto turns and yells for Sasuke. In this moment, he gets hit with several Senbon directly in the back. And yeah, I think Haku is taking this a little bit more seriously now. That's 2 straight attacks where all of the Senbon were direct hits. None of them were grazing hits at all. And at this point, it takes us back to Kakashi, who is standing alone in the dense mist. And he's thinking, "An enemy you can't see and can't hear. It's been a long time since I've faced anyone this tough. And Sasuke and Naruto, I don't know if they can hold out. Stay calm. Think. Where will he strike?" And it suddenly dawns on Kakashi, and he turns and yells, "The bridge builder." And it takes us to Sakura and Tazuna, and suddenly Zabuza appears behind Tazuna. And Zabuza comes rushing in to land the kill strike, but Kakashi lands between them, and Zabuza yells, "Too late," and slashes his giant sword, and blood goes flying. Sakura screams, and this is the moment where the previous episode ended. The title screen comes in, and Naruto says, "The broken seal." And it takes us to Naruto and Sasuke in the crystal ice mirror dome, and Naruto is laid out flat on his stomach, and Sasuke is on one knee, stuck full of Senbon, the both of them. And Sasuke notices Sakura scream and wonders what's happening to her and where Kakashi is. Naruto groans and remarks shakily, "Sakura, she's in trouble," as he looks at Sasuke. And Sasuke then thinks with a tinge of despair in his tone, "We've got to break through." And Sasuke then hears a shuffling and looks over at Naruto, who's struggling to stand up, but still defiantly proclaims, "I'll bust us out of here. I'll fake him out." And Sasuke looks on at Naruto in disbelief, and Haku chimes in, "You've exhausted my patience." And Naruto grunts and casts a hand sign and flexes and sends a field of chakra out swirling around him. And he then starts super sprinting towards the break in the mirrors. And Haku transports to the appropriate mirror to stop him in front of him. And the moment that he does this, Naruto suddenly somersaults backwards and runs in the opposite direction. And it shows Naruto running along the wall of mirrors, and Haku is mirroring him, running directly alongside him inside the mirrors. And Sasuke sees this and yells, "Naruto, behind you!" And Naruto turns to see, and Haku blasts him with a full-scale attack with the Senbon, piercing him all over, and this sends Naruto falling to the ground. And Sasuke calls out for Naruto, and Haku then says, "Your chance of escaping my house of mirrors is 0. That is absolute." And this dude, Haku, really is a problem, right? I know that the boys have him up against the ropes, but the man's a problem. He's getting meaner and meaner with his attacks, and they've literally only bopped his mask with a sneak attack and grazed his garment with a fireball jutsu. And yet he's got these guys both literally stabbed up, like been toying with him, right? And so, dang, man, the guys are getting some progress, but it's still looking rough, looking real rough. Like, Haku ain't beat up like either of these guys right now. But I digress. Sasuke runs up to Naruto and asks, "Are you able to get up?" And Naruto just groans and cringes in pain. And Sasuke tells him, "Try not to use any more chakra. That's only going to help him now." And Naruto lifts his head and says shakily, "I know, Sasuke, I know." And just lays his head back down. He's clearly gotten his ass kicked at this point. Sasuke groans and thinks, "We can't go on like this. He's blocking every move we make. I've got to find a way to outmaneuver him." And he then groans and stands up and says aloud, "My eyes have adjusted to his movements." And Haku quickly interjects, "Looking for a counterattack? I'll save you the trouble." And appears in a nearby mirror and throws several Senbon at Sasuke. And Sasuke, in this moment, picks up one of the Senbon off the ground and blocks all of the Senbon that Haku had just thrown his way. And this clearly shocks Haku, and he remarks aloud, "What?" And the beat drops, and Sasuke yells, "Get up, loser. We gotta team up," to Naruto. And Haku thinks, "I'm aiming to hit his vital spots now, but I can't get a direct hit." And Naruto finds the strength to sit up and says, "I know what we have to do. Believe it, Sasuke." And Haku then launches another attack, and Sasuke continues to block all of the Senbon. And Haku remarks as he bounces from mirror to mirror, "It's not just luck. He's fighting to protect his friend. That's why he's so determined, but he can't possibly see my needles coming." And Haku then throws Senbon directly at Naruto and Sasuke bumps Naruto out of the way of the attack. And Sasuke then groans and looks down, and it's revealed that he's been hit several times with the Senbon. And Haku then continues, "My movements are beyond human speed, and yet he's tracking them somehow. Whatever he's doing, I've got to stop him now." Right, and so at this point, Haku is beginning to realize that he's up against the ropes, and he's got to start throwing some bigger punches. Haku then vanishes from the mirrors entirely, which Sasuke remarks on, and then wonders aloud, "Where did he go? How could he just vanish? Naruto, you'd better not pass out on me again. Come on, let's go. I can't keep protecting you like this." And Naruto responds, "Well then don't. I never asked for your help." And then immediately passes out and falls over. And damn, man, the kid's too tough for his own good. Sasuke is obviously shocked by this, showing And it then shows Haku in the top mirror looking down, who then says, "You can't revive him, he's reached his limits," and laughs. And Sasuke then throws a Senbon at the mirror that Haku was in, and it just bounces off the mirror. And Haku remarks, "Impressive. You have excellent moves. Your attacks are very skillful." And then throws several Senbon at Sasuke, who promptly dodges this offering. And Haku then says, "But you've reached your limits as well." He then continues, "Motor functions, reflexes, judgments. Your abilities are weakening slowly but surely. Now you're finished." And Sasuke then thinks, "Here he comes. Stay calm, focus, concentrate, see everything." And as Sasuke is thinking this, Haku is bouncing around the mirrors rapidly all around, making it as hard to follow him as possible. And Haku in the mirror thinks he saw every move, but there's no way he could do that. And the beat drops, and Sasuke looks up, and his eyes are Sharingan eyes, which is dope, right? This is the very first time that we've seen Sasuke rock a Sharingan, and he's got two Sharingan, right? Kakashi only has one, and the only other person that we've ever seen is like a phantom that lives in Sasuke's memory, right? So this is huge right now. He just awoken his Sharingan, right? Go us. This is a big moment. If you don't realize this is a big moment, you need to realize this is a big moment. And Haku remarks, "Impossible. Those eyes, the Sharingan, pure." And Sasuke thinks, "It's not complete, but I could see through his deceptions." And it shows us a close-up of Sasuke's eyes, and they're very similar to Kakashi's eye. But where Kakashi has 3 tomoe, think a Japanese comma, along the inner rim, Sasuke only has 2 tomoe in his right eye and 1 in his left eye. And so when he says it's incomplete, maybe it's complete when there are 3 tomoe in the eye. I wonder how you get all of the tomoe. Is it like a quest where you got to go do some mission or achieve something before you get it? We'll have to keep an eye on this. I love being cheesy. God, that's beautiful. Keep an eye on the Sharingan eye. Okay, that's it. I'm also curious if he just awakened this bloodline trait or if he's had this the whole time and he's just now busting it out. We're going to have to see. I'm certain they're going to talk about it. And at this point, Haku thinks, so he too has a Kekkei Genkai, the power of a unique bloodline trait passed down within a clan. Interesting. Even though it's not perfected. To uncover this power in the midst of a lethal attack is an amazing feat. And because of that, I won't be able to fight much longer. My jutsu uses a tremendous amount of chakra, and his swift movements also take energy. There's no doubt that the longer we fight, the more he will use the Sharingan to perceive my moves. Even now, his eyes are tracking me. I can't target him directly. He'll just block a frontal attack. So I'll have to throw him off guard by attacking his partner. Then I'll destroy him. And so Haku actually, with that bit of dialogue, just established that Sasuke uncovered this skill during the fight. So it answered one of the questions that I had. It's also interesting that Haku was able to recognize the Sharingan as incomplete. And so maybe him and Zabuza know a little bit more about the Sharingan than I was giving them credit for. And maybe they know exactly how that Sharingan works, and I wasn't giving them the credit where it was due. So maybe it is a hypnotic eye and a piercing eye type of mechanism going on there, because these guys clearly know what they're talking about. And at this point, Haku leaps from his mirror to finish off Naruto. And Sasuke runs towards Naruto and thinks, I've got to stop him. And just as this is all coming to a head, it takes us back to the scene between Zabuza and the rest of Team 7. and it shows Kakashi holding his side dripping blood. And Sakura yells for Kakashi Sensei, and Zabuza remarks, "You were late, Kakashi. You let your concern for those little punks' safety cloud your mind, adding further to the fog that already hinders your Sharingan. Your eyes are sharp, Kakashi, but not sharp enough to read my moves. Not anymore." And he then laughs evilly and continues, "Come on, Kakashi, I want this to be fun. I want to enjoy myself as I exact my revenge. As for those brats, don't worry, they're at Haku's mercy. No, they're breathing their last breaths right now. Relax. You'll have plenty of time to whip out an apology for failing those brats when you see them in the next life." And he then cackles maniacally and disappears into the mist. And Sakura at this point looks over at the crystal ice mirror dome and remarks aloud, "He said Sasuke will die." And she shakes her head and says, "No, I won't believe it. I have faith in him." And it then shows us Sakura's internal dialogue, and she's like punching the air and exclaiming that Sasuke will beat them to a pulp. And then she says aloud, "That masked kid." And it shows her internal dialogue again, and she's again punching the air and exclaims, "Sasuke will make him wish he was never born." And she then says aloud, "I can't lose Sasuke." And her internal dialogue again shows her like fighting the air and screaming, "Anyone who tries to take him from me will pay for it." And she then says, "And Naruto either." And Kakashi chimes in, "Exactly. I believe in their abilities. I have faith in them. Naruto, the #1 hyperactive knucklehead ninja, and Sasuke, heir to the most powerful clan in the Hidden Leaf Village." And this statement startles Zabuza, who starts to ask, "You mean?" And Kakashi interrupts him, "Yes. His full name is Sasuke Uchiha. The unique powers of the Uchiha bloodline run through his veins. The Kekkei Genkai is his birthright." And it's wild to think that just the news that Sasuke is an Uchiha changes things for Zabuza, right? Like, when Kakashi says they're the most powerful, he means that shit. Just finding out that this kid is an Uchiha changes the tune for Zabuza immediately. And Zabuza then adds, "I heard that one young ninja survived the tragedy of the Uchiha clan. No wonder he advanced so quickly. But so does Haku. No one can match him. No one has ever stopped his secret jutsu. Even the most skilled jonin fall before him, just as you will fall before me, right now." And Kakashi yells for Sakura to stay with Tazuna, who responds, "Okay, got it." And Kakashi sprints off into the mist. And as he's running, he thinks, he's right. I need to end this, but he's the one who will fall. It then takes us to the boys in the Crystal Ice Mirror Dome, and Naruto is still laid out, and he looks over at Haku, who is actually laid out on the ground, right? Sasuke awakened his Sharingan, and now Haku is on his ass. And while he's looking at Haku, Sasuke says, "You always get in the way, Naruto. It never fails." And Naruto responds excitedly, "You beat him, Sasuke." But when he looks up at Sasuke, he's absolutely riddled with Senbon and he's dripping blood. And Sasuke turns and looks at Naruto and says, "You should see the look on your face. You look like a total loser." And Naruto sits up and asks Sasuke why he saved him. And Sasuke says, "I don't know why. I just did." And everything goes black around Sasuke, and he has a flashback montage of his favorite memories of and with Naruto, right? And Sasuke then smiles and coughs and says, I hated you." And Naruto stands up and says, "Why then? It doesn't make any sense. Why did you protect me?" And Sasuke chuckles. And Naruto clenches his fists in frustration and yells, "I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for you to save me." And Sasuke responds, "I don't know. My body just moved. There was no time to think, loser." He then groans and falls over, and Naruto catches him. And Sasuke looks up at Naruto and says, "He's still out there. My brother. I promised myself I'd stay alive until I killed him. And oh wow, the person that Sasuke was going to destroy, who is his brother. I guess he's the second surviving member of the Uchiha clan. You'll remember whenever they were first introducing themselves to Kakashi, Sasuke had said that his whole goal was to destroy a certain someone. And Sasuke just revealed that his whole goal was to kill his brother. And so everyone's been saying that Sasuke is the sole survivor, right? But Kakashi has a Sharingan eye, and now his brother's out there too. So there's clearly deception afoot with what's going on with this Uchiha clan. Who really knows at this point? But the bottom line is that the person who Sasuke has been on a mission to eliminate and destroy has been his brother this whole time. And if that isn't a big deal, hell, I don't know what is. And Sasuke then looks up at Naruto, and Naruto tells him, Sasuke then looks up at Naruto and tells Naruto, "Don't let your dream die," and then goes limp. And Sasuke just die? Like Sasuke awakened his Sharingan, told us his goal was to kill his brother, and then died? We're gonna see. But Naruto is clearly shocked by this and is tearing up and pulls Sasuke's lifeless body in for a hug. And in this moment, Haku stands up and thinks he found the strength he didn't realize he had. Why? Because of a certain person that was precious to him. To save that person, he rushed in, knowing it was a trap. He was a true ninja, worthy of honor. And Haku then asks Naruto, "Is this the first time you've seen a friend die in battle? This is part of what it means to be a ninja." And then he recedes into the mirror. And Naruto responds simply, "Shut up." And he sets Sasuke's body down and says, "I hated you too, Sasuke, and yet..." And suddenly a ring of smoke forms around Naruto, and he says to Haku, "You'll pay for this." And suddenly the smoke blows past all the mirrors, and it's revealed that there's a field of red chakra swirling around and above Naruto. And Naruto is trembling, and he looks up, and his face has changed, and he has like the markings on his cheeks have become more exaggerated. It's almost like he's got whiskers now, and his eyes are red, and his pupils are now a vertical slit, and his like teeth have gotten bigger and sharper, and he exclaims that "I'm going to kill you." And the beat drops, and the chakra field around him grows larger and more violent, and it's like throwing rocks and dust and swirling everywhere, right? It's clearly destructive. And Haku thinks, what is this chakra? Chakra can't be seen, yet it's clearly visible. It's something ghastly. I can feel the wrath, the bloodlust, like evil itself. And the swirling chakra field then forms into the face of a fox above Naruto. And all of Naruto's wounds heal immediately. His hands grow larger, he grows claws, and Haku thinks, his hand is healing and changing. This boy, what is he? And Naruto then turns and growls and looks at Haku dead in the face, and Haku is caught in Naruto's glare. And it zooms in on Naruto's eye, and it's red with a vertical slit, and his veins are protruding from his head. And this whole transformation has just shocked everybody. And Kakashi thinks, is Zabuza creating this? And it shows the chakra fox roaring, and Kakashi thinks, he's not. I know this chakra. There's no way. And Zabuza remarks aloud, what is this energy? It's something foul. Kakashi? No, it's too powerful even for him. Where is it coming from? And Kakashi then turns and thinks Naruto. And it flashes back to the nine-tailed fox attack on the village. And Kakashi then thinks, this puts everyone in danger. Now of all times, the seal is broken. I have to stop it. and the chakra fox above Naruto swirls into the sky, and Naruto's transformation is complete, and he then sprints at Haku on all fours, and the episode ends, right? And this is, what a big episode, man. There was a lot that just went down in this one. In this episode, Sasuke awakened his Sharingan and then fucking died. Right? Holy shit, what a roller coaster. No way they set us up like this, right? Homie can't really be dead, can he? I don't know the rules on this show yet. Maybe everyone dies? I'll have to check out next episode to see if they concretely confirm this fool's death, because this is wild. Naruto's fox spirit energy went out of control. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out now that Naruto is in fox mode, or whatever you want to call it. I'm also curious what happened to the energy that was released during the whole deal, right? Like, there was a swirling field of chakra that turned into like a fox's face up above Naruto, and whenever he kind of reeled it in, right, that energy went off somewhere, and I'm curious what the deal is with that. Maybe it just dissipates off into nothing. Maybe, who knows, right? But it definitely occurred to me in the moment. I'm also curious why Naruto's red fox chakra is visible when apparently the blue chakra that we've been seeing throughout the series is invisible, right? The other guys can't see that. That's just for us so that we can understand where chakra is. But like, that's an invisible force apparently. And just like, maybe that chakra is that much more badass. I don't know. Hopefully they'll explain why you can see his chakra and you can't see other people's. And I wonder if there's other people out there who have violent enough forms of chakra that you can see it, or if Naruto's truly exceptional in this way. Wild how all that swirling chakra turned into the fox, right? Like, holy cow, like it literally like was a swirling field of energy that turned into a fox's face. It was pretty wild how they depicted it, right? I mean, this is definitely like the tip of the spear of the crazy, right? This is way wilder than the water dragon, way wilder than the water vortex, way wilder than the crystallized mirror jutsu. Like, this dude done uncorked some shit. This is also one of the two scenarios that Hiruzen talked about being why people are so scared of Naruto, right? The first one, which I don't necessarily prescribe to, is that Naruto is the Red Fox incarnate. And, Naruto seems like a nice kid and the fox seems ugly, so that just seems wrong, right? But the second reason was that they feared that the fox spirit could take over Naruto's body. Right, and the fox spirit definitely like reared its head in the most literal sense in this scenario, right? And so it's definitely terrifying to think that that big mountain destroying monster lives inside of Naruto, and if Naruto experiences, emotional duress, this son of a bitch can come out. And I don't know exactly what's happening here. It seems like Naruto is definitely piloting the ship still. Maybe the fox spirit's chakra is influencing Naruto's decisions to a certain degree. It certainly seems as though the fox's chakra has changed Naruto's appearance and his demeanor, right? So there's no telling. Maybe there's a spectrum, right? The more that energy comes out, the more it influences behavior. Who knows? But there's definitely like some shit happening right now. The bottom line is that it's fucking wild that this fool just had a nine-tailed fox energy erupt out of him during a moment of extreme emotional duress. I can't wait to see how the rest of this fight is going to play out. I'm interested to see, Zabuza and Kakashi still have their thing going. I wonder how that's going to play out. Good on Kakashi for stopping Zabuza from clipping the bridge builder in the fog. That was a move that I'd been calling for the whole time, like go straight for the bridge builder. And I guess just Kakashi's too clever for that. And shout out Sakura, right? She's always holding it down. She's been protecting the bridge builder this whole time, allowing for Naruto and Sasuke and Kakashi to move around and do the badass stuff that they need to. And with that, guys, we can pretty much put a bow on this one. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm really looking forward to covering episode... What's the next episode? We're going to be covering episode 17 next episode. And so, between here and there, go and participate in the comments, like and share the memes. Be friendly, guys. The point is to be friendly and make friends and build a little community. So I really appreciate everybody for listening. I'm really looking forward to covering the next episode with you. Once again, I'm Joshua. I'm your Konoha companion, and thank you all so much.